Yeah, honestly, what's really weird is a lot of times that this has happened to me, it's like, "Oh, I thought NASA just put that picture out. It looks like NASA answers."
Yeah,
So that even weirded me out. I was like, "I don't believe in outer space." Like, it's a physics, but it just I don't know how to explain it. It's just darkness with, like, just all this stuff, and you're not there. Your body isn't there. I'm just, like, among it, and it's like I'm not thinking about a damn thing. I'm just witnessing it and feeling love and not even thinking, but just witnessing something. So hard to explain.
all right. Welcome to another broadcast of the. Oh my gosh, I can't even do my own intro. Welcome to another episode of Broadcasting Seeds. I am your host, Bennett Tanton. And today, man, we've got Nick from the Occult Rejects, who has turned into a friend of mine. And dude, tell us who you are, what you do, and where we can find you.
Thank you so much for having me on, man. Yeah, definitely for sure. Definitely one of my few friends, actual real friends in podcasting. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, the Occult Rejects. It's available on BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and all major podcasts. It is kind of like a conglomerate of like people or shows. Like a lot of people have their own stuff. So you will normally find like a panel for every episode, and it probably has like a total of like I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 people. Not always on every time, sometimes almost all of them, but, yeah, you get different perspectives and, different ideas. It's very much more focused on the occult. I used to cover the occult and the conspiracy a lot, but just lately it's, been easier for me I just have more fun doing the occult stuff, so I just keep it real. And when I get to have these people on, at least for me, I get to, like reminisce, or I can actually like I'm not just keep it real. I guess in the conspiracy community, there's really nobody I can talk about except for the people on my show about occultism or actual ceremonial magic. Actually doing like the circles and the rituals.
Right.
Getting into when you say that stuff, everybody looks at you like you got 10 heads, and they're like, "Oh, but when's Satan dicks come out?" It's
Yeah, right.
yeah, I'm
Exactly.
like, that's it's not all about that. But so
Yeah.
at least with these people, I can talk about
It's not even about that.
yeah, at least not for me. It's
No, exactly. I guess you're right.
Yeah, so when I have those people, at least, like, it's a little bit different. I can, like, jive about the Kabbalah and talk shit about the hexagram ritual, the pentagram ritual. It's a lot more, comfortable and easier for me, actually. But, long story short, yeah, we do even cover sometimes occults, conspiracy stuff, like I have you coming on for, DNA.
Yeah.
So dark DNA. So I mean, we're into science. That's another thing that I've been trying to bring to the show a little bit more of us, maybe academic stuff and science. I do think science is, I think that's important when it comes to the occult. I think that's a thing that a lot of people leave out. My opinion, a lot of stuff does point back to, I think, actual like occult science and stuff to do with the body and brain, the eyes.
Yeah.
So we do try to cover that, and it's a little different than most occult shows as well. One thing I will say, if you happen to be like new and you go check out the show, lately I don't know how it's worked out for me. I don't know what happened, but like, some of the people I've had on my show when it comes to the occult and what they're talking about, they are, and again, it's not me, it's them. They are actually like some of the biggest names in the community for those topics. I've had people that are high up in the Golden Dawn. There's a guy who comes on my show. I didn't realize he came on a few times. The guy's the most like highest publicly known guy in the Golden Dawn. I was like, I had no fucking clue. I mean, I knew he was in the Golden Dawn. I fucked around with this shit. And it's like I've had people from Temple of Set, not to brag about that, but like high up. But like there has been a lot of people that have come on the show recently that are well respected, and actually like, some are academics as well. So I guess
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is like if, I do try to bring like some of the best people on for those topics as well. It doesn't get really woo woo and silly. It's actually very in depth. I think most people will be very surprised about that as well.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, the times I've been on, it's been super interesting. I mean, and
I
the
don't
other
even bring you
thing,
on for that much occult stuff because
no, well, because,
so bad. I
I'm
don't
not
know.
in that space.
Yeah. Oh, the
But
thing is too, I don't want to, sometimes I'm going to keep it honest. I've seen it happen to Prometheus Lens. I brought him on with certain guests and he's gotten shit on for it. So
yeah,
I don't want to do that to you either. You're my boy.
yeah, no, exactly. And I understand. It's one of those things for me though, is like, it is what it is. Like, and if you can't have the discernment to know that, yeah, I I'm interested in all this stuff because it's education, right? And this is why I catch flack for having guys and gals on all the time, like witches and you and other folks, and people are like, but I don't. This isn't why I'm not doing this. I do it for an audience, but I do it so people can learn.
Yes,
And
yes.
if you want to call, if people want to call you their enemy, then so be it. But
Mhm.
you're not my enemy. You don't believe the same shit I believe, but oh well.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's really
I
all
think
it's
I
about is
think
just trying to help people
conversations
learn.
you and I have had, I think we agree on being human
Yeah.
99% of the fucking time, you know? So I mean, anyway, it's just one of those things.
Mhm.
So I love your show, and I think you and that's the other thing I think is cool is you're not scared to bring other people on either. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I mean, there was even with when I was having the Temple of Set guys on, I mean, that's fucking a little ballsy, I thought, especially
yeah, right.
not that I did it, but it was just like I mean, first off, they the book company approached me, and they offered them as guests, and I was like, "Fuck it, alright," but I mean, yeah, I kinda thought it was a little bit,
Off.
yeah, but see, this is a thing, though, that I even wanna mention. Those guests that I've had on one, I will say, Toby Chappelle, I actually think he is a very nice man, and I think he's extremely fucking intelligent. I could be wrong, but I do think that, sometimes when I have these people on, and I've had this guy, Carl Abrahamson, on.
Mm,
High level, he was supposedly stopped in the OTO at 10th degree. I question that, I still think he might be in it, but that's neither here nor there. I got him one time, he was just running his mouth. He was friends with Genesis P. Orridge, and he all of a sudden just came out and was like, "Yeah, me and him with ritual work and surgery, we're trying to create non-binary beings." And I was just like, "Excuse me?"
excuse me?
You know, I didn't even know what to say.
Yeah,
Like, long story short is that sometimes even when I've gotten these guests on that are supposedly like, I guess a hot topic or something, you're like, "Oh, wow, I can't believe you spoke to that person." It's like, come on, you'd talk to fucking Charles Manson right now if somebody gave you the opportunity. Stop your shit. You know,
right.
but how many people would go talk to Adolf Hitler if they could have a discussion with him? Stop your
Yeah,
shit. You know what I'm saying? But long story short is that sometimes when I'm having these conversations with these people and I'm not digging into them and just interviewing them like a normal person, if you pay attention to some of the shit they say, you'll get a little bit more understanding about what the fuck these people are into and what's going on. I may not badger them, but I'll let them say their own shit. And if people are listening, you'll see what I'm doing with that as well.
yeah,
You know, like even stuff at the Temple of Set, the way I let Stephen Flowers go, and well, not really Toby, but like, I don't know, has like even given me like more of an insight that I actually do think that order is probably run by the fucking government.
yeah,
It is so decompartmentalized and everybody is so specific on what the fuck they're doing. I was like, it sounds like somebody's probably watching these smart motherfuckers. I will give
mhm,
them credit. The dudes that I have spoken to from there are extremely intelligent. They're using them to figure out shit, I think. And they have
yeah,
zero fucking clue. They think they're part of some cool club and they're basically like being mined for info.
yeah, yeah,
You know, but I would never think that or have any clue to that if I didn't let them run their mouths on my show and got very personal about the inner orders and this and that when I wasn't attacking them. And when I didn't attack Carl, that guy comes out and agrees to that, admits that shit. That's pretty fucking wild.
it is.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just
I haven't
let
had you back on.
bring people on podcasts and just interview them. Not you don't
Yeah.
need to attack them. You don't need to
Yes, I know.
have a
Right?
the debate over the way because you're not going to change their mind, dude.
No.
So
No.
if you're trying to push your agenda, that's for you to do. That's fine. It's your show. It's your prerogative. But at the
Oh,
end of the day, if you want to probe people's minds, and I use that word, um, then that's what you have to do. You have to play you got to play the right role, right? So I just don't get it. But what?
and
So
it's fun though anyway. It's been a
it is
while.
fun.
Yeah, because even for me, like being in the occult community at one point, and, like, just looking back at, like, I guess how, like, even intimidated I was or just was like, I guess I always felt like I didn't completely fit in with those people, so I guess maybe I always just felt like maybe it was me. But it's just wild to, like, look back at who I was, and I was like, "Yo, I would never, ever, ever think that these people would be having a conversation with me 7 years later, 8 years later."
Mm.
Like, it's just like that even blows my mind. I was like, I remember, like, seeing this person's book or listening to this person's podcast when I was studying magic, and now you're coming on my show and talking to me. It's fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's really
So
is wild an experience to be
what
like, "Holy
first
shit."
drew you to the study of occultism and magic?
You know, I tried to think about that. I mean, I was always open to stuff like aliens and UFOs, and no, I'm sorry, aliens, UFOs, and the paranormal. Growing up young, I guess my father had believed, like, in some of that stuff, and there was always tales about, like, Long Island having, like, Indian spirits or
Mhm.
hauntings. So you heard about that a lot. There was always lore about, like, every year, a male would drown in Lake Ronkonkoma, and that did happen, like, consecutively for a long time. So you start hearing tales about that. So you kinda, like, open to that stuff. I think also the fact of, like, maybe religion, uh, to an extent, believe it or not, I think, like, being so important or as a kid already like believing that like, well, I got to do whatever God likes or I'm going to fucking hell.
Yeah.
Like I remember that pretty early on. And I think I just started getting interested. Well, what the fuck's like, all right, who's the bad guy? I don't know. Like I just wanted to know the whole story. I just felt like there was just something else there. I wanted to look at everything. I do remember, and I do often wonder if this was a huge impact on me. And it was something I brought up on the show not too long ago that I forgot about. But like I remembered eventually that like when I was in school, I can't remember the author's name. I eventually found it online, but there was, like, some dude who did, like, 3 different books on, like, he did one on, like, Norse mythology and then, like, 2 other mythologies, but it was, like, done for kids.
Mm.
It was, like, cartoon, and for some reason, my school had that shit, and I don't know what made me take it out, but I took that shit out. It was so funny, I'm not really into North shit anyway, but, that whole story and everything and just, it seemed fucking really interesting to me. And, that did catch my attention, and I do wonder if maybe that instance there also has something to do with it, seeing that book in school, but, eventually down the road, I would think probably just from, wondering, like, because of religion, just, I guess, wondering, like, I just felt like there was something else there, being open to the paranormal, um, the, even stuff with aliens, I was very open to that. I guess as I got older, that probably helped me end up into the conspiracy community. Um, and I was still interested in the occult, but like once I started getting heavily into conspiracies and like looking up stuff online or even YouTube back in the day, I came across like a lot of videos, and it was a lot of people that would also talk about the occult in their stuff. Like Jordan Maxwell, David Icke, Michael Tsarian, who's that other guy who always fucking flips out too. I can't remember his name. There's a couple of people that were well known, and they also talked about the occult, and I was very interested in that. And again, could that have been from stuff from being young? But I do know that like at least being in interested in aliens. I was watching YouTube. I was watching it was like some movie that was kind of done like Blair Witch, and I was like, okay, this is fake. It's not real. But I think it was supposed to be trying to make it look like it was like some real alien thing showing up. And
Yeah.
then like the next thing that played on its own was Project Camelot. So that caught my attention. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what
Got
the
you.
fuck is this type of stuff?" That was the first time I ever came into, like, a podcast setting or whatever, guerrilla style, fucking whatever she called
Yeah.
it. Like, I saw that and I was like, "Yo, this is really interesting." And then you go through that shit, you got, fucking David Wilcox, all these fucking people, all these shills too, which is really questionable. But all these, like, different people that, teeter on the occult a lot, and, I got heavy into that. So, but then when I started, like, following a lot of those people, looking into this stuff, I would go down these rabbit holes, probably did it yourself, like, you start looking at certain people that supposedly started this order or this type of magic,
Yeah.
this, that. I did that for a while, and then one day I was just like, "You know what?" I was like, "I still don't even know what the fuck magic is." I was like, all I know is, like, these supposed bad guys and these countries that they came from. I was like, "What the fuck is still magic?" So, I was like, "Let me." I eventually got books. And I was going through some of these books, and then eventually, I had noticed a discrepancy between 2 of 'em. One was referencing back to Aleister Crowley's, Liber and I had Aleister Crowley's Liber by itself, Liber it was like 2 or 3-page PDF, and, it wasn't the same. Like, the shit was, like, kinda moving around.
Yep.
I was like, "Okay, well, that's, like, fucking stupid." I was like, still I was like, "I guess I can't trust books either." I don't know, why I thought I could, but I was like, "Alright, I guess, like, now I even gotta worry about this shit." So I was like, maybe as crazy as it sounds, I was like, maybe there's like one of these places around me that I could just go to and check it out. And I knew a couple of Freemasons from being in like occult Facebook groups,
Mhm.
and I had asked one of them about going there for like occultism and ceremonial magic. And the dude was like, "Dude, you'll have to spend so much fucking time here before they even acknowledge that. You'd have to go like way high up." And they're like, go to a different place. They're like, "Believe me, it's just gonna take too long." And they were like, "Try Martinism, the Golden Dawn, or the OTO," which was kind of like the other ones I was gonna look at anyway.
Yeah, right.
And there was none of those. I mean, I would have preferred. I was really hoping and looking into the Golden Dawn. I mean, there might have been maybe that I just didn't find, but there was none on Long Island, or at least nothing that was close to me that I noticed. And when I looked up the OTO, I was like, "Oh fuck, there's one like 20 minutes away from my house, 25 minutes away." And I was like, "All right." I was like, it wasn't a huge like. I am very interested in this shit, some of the shit Crowley was talking about, but like I don't put him up on a pedestal, and I don't think he was like all that. I do question just from his being in intelligence. I pretty much
Mhm.
question any fucking story ever repeated about the guy, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because
I
it's like
do.
normally these people in intelligence, they already have like a fake facade anyway that the public gives you.
Yeah,
So like, how do I know what the fuck's real about him?
right.
And so I but the whole thing is I do think when it came to the occult, he was onto something. He probably was a degenerate in some ways, like people said he was. I don't know. But I wasn't putting him up on a pedestal, and then, the order already kind of had like a shady name. So I was like, oh fuck, all right. But I still was like, all right, I'll try this out. And I got in touch with them, and because they had, most of these places all have websites, even like the OTO, like they have like a website for the United States, and it shows you where all the lodges are, or places, lodges, oasis, or camps. And so, like most of them all have social media too, or some sort of scheduling that you could probably find. And I saw that they did a Gnostic mass like every weekend. And I was like, well, I think I got so and so weekend ahead free. I was like, maybe I'll contact them and I'll go. And I contacted them, and they're like, "Yeah, well, that's like almost a month away. Hit us up the day before, and we'll give you directions here." They're like, "There's no, no big deal about it now." I was like, "All right, that's fine, whatever." Uh, Time came, I hit them up, and then they gave me the address. They told me how to get there. Um, I remember driving there, and I get to this place, and this even weirded me out right away, but it makes sense. This makes sense once you realize the situation. But like in the directions, it's like telling you to like the place is like across the street from like a park. And there's like benches that are outside by by the walkway, the curb, facing to look into the park. And they're like, sit down at the benches or hang out. There should be probably a crowd of people over there or some people over there, and we'll let you in. And I was just like, "Oh, that is fucking shady." Like, what? And I'm like thinking, I'm like, "Yo, am I just gonna be standing over there by myself and I'm gonna get like, picked up or some shit?"
Mm,
It's weird. It's just very weird. So I'm driving down the block actually, and then there's like these people. It wasn't a bunch. It was enough of them. It wasn't huge, but it was enough of them, and they all like kind of looked like very like almost like goth like look, or very dark. And I was like, "Oh, okay, there's the ODO people. I'm sure. I'm not going to be the only one waiting." So I went and like parked my car, and this is in is that Sunnyside, Queens, and yeah,
yeah. Oh my god.
yeah. So I'm at Sunnyside, Queens, parking my car, and I'm headed over to the lodge, and yeah. So I see those people, and I'm like, all right, I'm not the only one here. And like as soon as I got there, the dude came out and like when I realized the situation is this was an apartment building. They had like the downstairs like area rented out that you need a key to get in regardless.
Right.
It was like, I guess, one of those. So he had to come out and open up the gate so anybody could even get into the fucking place. So at least I was like, all right, this kind of makes sense. And like, I guess, like, I guess a school shooter can't just fucking walk up in here, easily. They got to get through the fence. Like, maybe it's not that bad. So I went in, and now I had watched the Gnostic Mass on YouTube, and I was like, this isn't like really too wild. I was like, I'll be honest, it seems like, it's almost like kind of like a weird Catholic mass, but like they said of anything with Jesus, it's just you and God. It's pretty much like they took that dude out of the scenario. And I was like, okay, it's like nothing too wild. So when I went there, not thinking there'd really be a difference between YouTube's version and the real version, It started off, everything was like, kind of going normal. And then all of a sudden titties came out. And then I was like, oh fuck. I was like, this was not on YouTube.
Yeah. Right.
And
Wow.
I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, is this turning into some eyes wide shut shit? I remember that. I remember if anybody was ever to go like watch the Gnostic Mass on like YouTube, or I think Vimeo has the titties version that I didn't know about.
Wow.
Um, yeah, there's 2 rows of, like, people alongside the temple, and then there's, like, the priest and the priestess doing this stuff in the middle, and I'm, like, kind of, like, all the way in the back on the left side, and it's, like, I'm just, like, looking at the back of everybody, and I'm, like, looking at the front. This chick's got her tits out, and I'm just like, "Yo, like, this is me." I'm like,
Wow.
"How the fuck did I really get here?"
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then crazy thing is I, stayed for about yes, but, um yeah, that was I remember even telling myself when that was happening, I was like, "Yo, if anything else is different," I was like, I'm
Mhm.
just gonna walk out, because I was just like, "Fuck," like, it already is different than what I thought, but, that was the only change, and, I mean, it was weird. I mean, but it's like then I'm, like, also thinking in my head, I'm like, "How different would this be with a bunch of Wiccans in the fucking woods?"
Right.
There'd
Right.
probably be more fucking titties out, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I'm just like, I don't know, like, I don't know, I guess I probably just tried to, like, justify it. And then, there was the the priestess who had her titties out, eventually comes over to me, dressed, and tries to
Dressed.
yeah, and tries to explain to me, like, there's other things there that they do as well. They said besides the Gnostic Mass, she says we do classes. Sometimes we do stuff like, candle magic, and you actually, like, make the candle here and bring it home. They were doing a tincture class coming up soon that she was trying to tell me about. You'll come here where you can actually make a tincture. I think it was like $10 and you can bring it home. We actually make it together. Stuff like that, or then sometimes they do, like, history classes too, where they're, like even, like, be totally honest, on my show, a lot of these dudes would probably be people that they would cover or possibly would, even in that lodge. Some of them are Gnostic saints that I even
Right.
include on my show, but, like, just people that impacted that they believe impacted the occult community, which is sometimes weird when you look at some of the people that they choose. You're like, I didn't know that guy was into that shit." I mean, like
Yeah.
Johannes Kepler. I mean, he was huge into that shit. I don't know if a lot of people realize the guy that determines how the fuck we're going out and out of space was actually an occultist. His mother was a witch. He had to go to court and defend her. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if people realize, like, a lot of, anything that we've ever believed about the stars has all been handed to us by occultists. Tycho Brahe was one, Johannes Kepler, Galileo, uh,
Yeah.
who's Copernicus, all that, they were all
I mean,
fucking
who
occultists.
else? Like Isaac Newton, even back to him,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
So
he had more, probably just as much, or if not more, spiritual or occult writing than he actually did with, like, science shit. I don't think most people know that too.
it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah,
So
there's people I
why
with
podcasting? What got you into
oh,
how did the Occult Rejects start? Like what even brought that about? I mean, I know you've got a progression here where
oh,
you
yeah.
were kind of like, hell no with the OTO.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
But
well, I guess leaving the OTO and the reasons why, or part of the reasons why, is what kind of actually made me podcast. I just think, unless you wanna get into it more, just to make it real quick, at some point, I wasn't kinda happy with the OTO. I knew at some point after I had taken one of my initiations, they kind of tell you things that you're gonna have to do down the road, supposedly, in order to keep moving up. And some of them I was not cool with, because one of them was signing over your shit, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of here." Another one was like, I think you even kinda had to maybe be with somebody there as well, and I was just like, "Yo, this ain't gonna work with." At that time, I was married. I was like, This ain't gonna work." I have asked her to come there. She never wanted to come, but I can guarantee you if she woulda came to a Gnostic Mass, she would have been dragging my fucking ass out of there as soon as titties came out. She would not have been having that. So I was like, "Yo, there's no way I can even convince her to become a member here. So fuck this. This isn't gonna work." Um, so, like, that already kind of, like, made me stop going, but then, like, when COVID came, they shut down, then they wanted people to be vaccinated, and then, like, if you weren't vaccinated, you could take a test and bring that in and show that. I was like, "Oh, Jesus fuck, I can't believe you people are doing this." And then they had, like, a Zoom meeting to talk about the George Floyd fucking, situation, and that has nothing to do with the book of the law. The OTO is supposed to be just like Alcoholics Anonymous. The only thing they're fucking worried about is that book and what's going on with magic inside those walls, not outside that fucking place. So I didn't understand that. And then there's just a lot of far left shit. And I'll be honest, if it was far right shit, I would have been just as turned off. But they started just noticing a lot of far left shit. And I was like, I'm out of here. This is getting fucking weird. Maybe it was just that large, but I don't think it was because there seems to be a lot of people that have kind of been turned off in the occult community by the far left to begin with. And yeah, so I left that, and I think because of seeing that weird shit going on with them, and then like this is the whole thing. Like when I was studying the occult, or even in the OTO, a little bit prior, um, the only stuff I listened to, or even podcasts or YouTube, was strictly occult. I really wasn't looking at conspiracy stuff as much as I used to. So, or politics, which I was never really into at all. Now, when I left the OTO and kind of like took my head out of the fucking sand and like started looking around the world around me, and after I had certain experiences, I was like, "Yo, god damn, this shit is fucking everywhere."
Yeah.
What the fuck? I was, it's just in where I get
totally.
2020.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it was getting real close to the 2020 elections. I remember just like seeing like, the Democrats and the Republicans. I'm like looking at their logos and the shit they're saying. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, yo, this shit is so blatant. I was like, how the fuck did I not notice this shit?
Well,
before?
see, this is one of the things that you and I touched on earlier. And I mean, if for nothing else, wouldn't you want to know? I mean, considering how much hate, like you'll get from certain denominations of religion, wouldn't you at least want to know what your enemies are doing? Like if you're, you know what I mean? Like
that was even part of the reason I got into to that stuff, because I was just like, yo, I just want a GPS, basically, of how to stay out of the matrix and do me.
Exactly.
Like literally, that's what it was originally me to do. Eventually my ideas of magic and reasons why I stayed there was different, but I mean, it was always normally positive, for the most, yeah, it was always positive, but just my idea of what magic or even God or whatever it was changed. But yeah, it was always just like, I'm just trying to stay out of the mind fuckery, because I believed from the conspiracies prior that this is the shit being used on me.
Yeah.
Well, let me figure out how to navigate my own way.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wild.
Yeah.
So how did the
podcast on?
Yeah.
Because I started doing the first thing when I came out. Unfortunately, I'll be honest, I was doing a lot of basically shitting on the OTO. I covered the initiations I did. I was even like very much like before I started to drink the Kool-Aid a little bit, and I caught myself, but I was also very much pointing at the left. I thought the left was just blaringly occult. Not realizing like the whole QAnon shit was just, in my opinion, just as fucking bad in different ways.
And maybe not the people. Oh, it's one of those things. It's usually the leadership, right? It's the people in spots where they can manipulate. So,
well, no, I mean, I'll be totally honest with you. Half the shit that I was seeing back then and you were seeing back then, I mean, how do we know that shit wasn't bots anyway, or just fucking
exactly
being paid
true
to
story.
do that shit? I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, I think a lot of these things are just like, believe it or not, people stirring shit online because that's their job, or they get off on it, or it's just a script.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I just, and very conspiratorial, still with an occult lens on it. I kind of did that shit. And then I got on Lift the Veil, believe it or not, had me on. It was like it was either second podcast I ever went on. First podcast was Ghost Nuts. These guys in Australia.
Ghost Nuts.
They were crazy. And I listened to them. I thought they were funny. And they covered like crazy shit like Pizzagate and all that weird stuff and the occult. And they just seemed nuts enough to where like when I would actually talk to them as a fan. And then eventually I was like, yo, I used to actually be in the OTO, man. Like I would talk to them on Instagram. I was like, yo, do you ever think about having me on? And they're like, you know what? Maybe. And then they had me on a few times. I even had him on my podcast when I started it. But I went on Lift the Veil because of that. He checked them out, and I did actually send him proof to show that you get paperwork. I showed him I was a legit member. I wasn't.
Yeah, right.
Which was a little sketchy. I didn't know him either, and that guy's questionable himself. But I'm just keeping it real. He is an actor. So
I love it. Yeah. Yes.
But it was just weird that I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll send him my whatever my degree thing from my novel. And he had me on, and Lux ended up hearing me on that show and contacted me, and he's like, "Yo, I was in the Golden Dawn and had, like, very similar experiences." He's like, "Maybe you might wanna talk." And we contacted and we talked on something. I think it might have been through, like, some, like, Wicker app or some shit. He was mad paranoid then. And I think we spoke through that for a little bit, and, like, his story was, like, pretty interesting. There was a lot of things like mine that I think at the time I didn't realize, like, I think might have been a little bit fabricated or a little bit stretched out because it's like, "Oh, I heard his story, so I can just apply that." Not saying he's a complete bullshit artist, but I don't think in the long run he was in the Golden Dawn. I think he was at A-Mark, which was like Golden Dawn mail order basically for him. Long story, whatever. But, um, he knew his shit, at least. He was not a dumb dude.
Yeah.
And I was interested in talking to him, and I was like, "Yo, would you wanna come on the show and talk about your experience with the Golden Dawn?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And, I just we spoke a lot off the air, and I noticed he was into, like, a lot of conspiracy shit. And I told him, I said, "I kinda wanted to do, like, a podcast like, what I originally had was the NY Patriot Show." I said, "I kinda wanna do that with, like, getting guests on to talk about shit." I said, "But I kinda wanted to start, like, another show where I was with a co-host and actually covered topics ourselves and did deep dives." Because I was very much into, like, researching a lot that I was like, I just now gotta, like, either copy and paste or screenshot shit, what I'm normally doing on my own. I might also just do that, and I can have an episode on a thing that we thought was interesting. And he thought he was totally down with that too. So, like, we started, covering a few topics together. There was ones that we did on the Masons, the Jesters, and the Shriners, and Quetzalcoatl. Those, like, took off, like, really well, and for some reason got us a lot of attention, and, actually, yeah, they did. And, we started just covering more occult topics, and, the show grew, and then eventually, like, I found out this kid was, like, pretty much bullshitting me about most of his life, and I just thought it was very uncomfortable, weird. And when I have a show that I wanna talk about the occult on, it's like, I really don't want a pathological liar on here. Like, I
Right.
underst like, again, I'm not that asshole that they think every occultist is. It's like, I actually
Right.
understand, like, people willing to listen to me.
I have
These are
standards.
minds. Yeah, yeah. There's minds that are in my hand that I could actually, if they're willing, I could fuck them, and I don't wanna do that. You know what I'm saying? So, I want somebody just to be honest who's on the show.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, like, he ended up leaving. And then I was like, "I don't know what to do." I said, "But, like, I don't wanna end the show." So, like, I started trying to find topics to do with other podcasters that I knew. And then eventually there's just certain people that I came across that stuck, like Headless Giant, Jin the Ninja, Robbie Marks,
I
Teresa
love Headless.
Leon. Yeah,
Funny.
early
Yeah,
on.
there's some great dudes and gals.
Yes, and then, I started working with them a lot and, like, Lisa, and then, I was just like I just kind of realized I was like, I should just keep it like this to where it's like a conglomerate of people. And the
Yeah.
best ones that I worked with, the people I worked with the best and that, probably did the most with, I just started making it a thing, and I started to try to, add other people. You live and learn, at
Yeah.
one point, there was, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think
People
where it
get
is at
people get
now.
a tryout.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, you're definitely right, you're definitely right. And, I think where it's at now, I'm totally like, I don't have any stress or any anxiety over it anymore.
Mm.
And it's been like that for months, actually.
Well, that's
But
good.
yeah, and it's going more of a direction that I'm very happy with. So, like, I guess, yeah, I can't complain, but
You know.
it's gone through its own changes, and, even the show itself, I mean, due to the fact of that, the old co-host that I had, unfortunately, I mean, I'll even say it myself, the way the show came out and where it is now is almost like a 180-degree change. People
Yeah.
are gonna be like, "What the fuck happened?" But it was just we're a show called The Occult Rejects. We're supposed to talk about the occult. Whatever it is, I let Lux kind of determine the topics a little bit more because I had my own shit going on, and I was like, I don't want to think too hard for both shows. So I guess
Mhm.
yeah, I fucked myself and let him control it a little bit too much. But a lot of it was always kind of like pointing at like pedophiles or orders, and I'm like, dude, I was like, me and you can get on the show and talk about tarot or sigils without fucking notes and just freestyle, talking about our experience and how we used to use them. They're like, yeah, 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 yeah. But I was just like, dude, like I don't know. So, like, once he was gone, I kinda just, like, slowly crept there, and there was a lot of shit with science that I actually covered now that I think is
Mhm.
extremely important that it's like
Yeah.
I couldn't just jump straight there. I have to kind of, like, creep people along there to even understand where I'm going.
Yeah.
So, but,
Well,
like,
with
fortunately.
the science part, you've
Go ahead.
got the Occult Research Institute.
Yeah,
Um,
yes, yes, and
Talk about that a little bit. Just a uh,
yeah,
shameless product placement, and you don't do it enough.
No, I
So
don't.
I'm telling you,
Thank you.
talk about the Occult Research Institute.
Yes, we have the Occult Research Institute.org. On there, there's like if you're into reading, there's a lot of stuff on there. There's a lot of episodes on people that have been done or like certain topics that might be a little bit more academic that has been put on there in read form. I need to add so much myself. There is people from the show who have actually put stuff on there. We have this guy Leon Southgate. He's not an occult reject, but a very good friend of ours. Guys, I think is a genius. And besides, I know Wilhelm has a horrible name, but like besides him, this guy is the only motherfucker who's done I think the same orgone shit.
Yeah.
He has, like, scientific papers that he's put on the website to share with people. Robbie
What's his
Mark
name? Wilhelm what?
Wilhelm Reich, I think, I've always fucked that name up, but, like, that guy who originally with the Orgo thing supposedly has, like, a horrible background. I don't know how truthful it is.
Right.
But, this guy, Leon Southgate,
Yep.
has taken that shit and gone even further with it. Some of the story he comes on the show, you can hear his Orgo box humming through the microphone.
Wow.
You'll hear a fucking zzz in the background. It's fucking weird.
Wow. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
he says it's gotten to the point that it was weird. He didn't really wanna get into what he was asking it, but he says, like, he has it to the point to where he can lay down next to the box and think of a question and actually hear an answer.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
I think he asked it something like that was associated with religion, and he didn't really wanna see the link. He didn't wanna
Yeah.
talk about it. I think he got shook.
Wow.
Yeah. I was
Holy
hoping if I
moly.
ever do get him on again because I lost contact with him because I think it's I don't know, whatever. But, I wanted to press him a little bit more on that, but, like, or I was willing to go, "Well, let me come
Yeah,
over.
something shook
I'll
him.
fly over I'll fly over there, dude. Let me lay down next to that thing."
I'll try anything
Yeah,
once, he
right, fuck
says.
it.
Right?
I mean, he seems to
Uh,
still be alive. I could try it once.
right. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like someone like him, his shit's on the website. Mario, I wouldn't consider him a cult reject, but from symbolic studies, he's worked with us a lot, and he's actually helped me and us, I think, a lot, even in our education of the occult. He's got a bunch of stuff on there. Oh God, Headless, I think might have stuff on there. Jin does. Ethan Indigo, he puts stuff on there quite often. But there is contributions every once in a while from people on there. There is a section where there's like occultists from the past or alchemists and stuff, and I add to that. I probably have like 10 people to still add that I've already done shows on. I just got to copy and paste the notes, but there is tons of those. I mean,
Mhm.
tons of stuff. And I think those are important to look at because the reason why I do cover those people is that if you were to look at any of them and see what they were studying and what they're into, you're going to be like, I had no idea that occultists were looking at this stuff as well. Like why are they looking at the eyeballs in the brain?
Yeah. Right.
Like why it's so many of them are so much into sound and music. You're like, oh wow, I didn't know it was that.
Yeah, frequency, especially stuff like that for
Yeah,
sure.
music of the spheres. I mean, even like I bring her up a lot. Hildegard, Saint Hildegard, even though she was a saint, I mean, she's known as like a great very much an occultist. She came up with octaves with doing, having women sing in one octave and then women singing in another
Yeah.
octave and bringing it together. I was like,
Right.
that's like fucking. If she didn't do that, maybe it would have still have happened, but like we may never have had Iron Maiden. If you ever noticed, they always played octaves
Yeah.
over each other. Yeah, and it's like, that goes back to Saint Hildegard. You know what I'm saying? And like, who would she was just very much even into sound and music, and I think like stuff with the church. It's just very interesting to see like how much science is even in these people from the past. And it's just like you start looking at like the people that we have now that we look at that are these names. It's like, why are they always painted as like these fucking stupid degenerates? I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Because like they even like if I was to go look at the Gnostic Mass and go look at the saints that they talk about, and even the ones Crowley, I think added to it. I mean, these people are like polymaths. They're scientists. They're chemists. It's just like, like there's a lot. It's like I say all the time. It's not just dicks and demons. You know. So I try to put those people on the site to even show that, like, like these people were into a lot more science. I hate to say it. I do think it's a huge part of the occult, and people don't realize it. And you
Yeah.
got Robert Flood drawing the eyeballs, the brain, the nervous system, fucking blood. Why? And then the next thing he's talking about having, experience with fucking, the one.
Yeah.
Just it's very interesting, and I think, like, trying to just educate people. I think that
Absolutely.
there is, some gems in there to find, and it's not always bad stuff, and I do think, the whole idea of the magician itself when it comes to the occult, if even, like, if you were to join the OTO, the whole idea of the magician is to have an experience with the holy guardian angel, like, eventually have an experience with God. That's
Mhm.
what your whole idea is supposed to be. I guess depends on what kind of person you think you're gonna be to get there, but, I mean, that is honestly if you get into this stuff, that's the reason you're supposed to be doing it. It's not be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I wanna get, hook up with Satan and make him fucking make my life the best." You're actually
Yeah.
supposed to be, like, very hard on yourself. Very hard on yourself.
Yeah. How do you define magic today? And how does that
Hmm.
definition how has it shifted since you started?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a great, great question. Uh, when it first started, like I said, I think I was just more of like, I just wanna kinda, like, maybe learn to stay out of the bullshit. Um, there was, like, a lot
Right.
of like, one of the first things I started learning to do was, like, basically meditate and the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram.
Yeah.
And, when you're doing lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, like, you're literally just calling down angels and you're pretty much removing any elemental influence on yourself, and that's it. You're not pulling anything in, asking for anything. You're just doing that. You have, like, a clear slate for the day, supposedly, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was doing that and a lot of meditation. So, again, like, it was just very, I think, a little bit more simple for me, and I was just, like, thinking, it wasn't that big of a deal. Once I started getting into that stuff more and, for some reason, I don't know what it was, planetary magic just it got me interested, and I was very interested in learning the hexagram ritual, and I started practicing that and adding that into my stuff, and then that starts really, I mean, prior, I was already doing, I think, talismans and candle magic, but I felt like once I got into planetary magic,
Mm.
I was able to go a lot more extra. Now I'm gonna start bringing in, I mean, again, all this stuff can be used for basic stuff, but, like, even planetary things, like, I'd start, as woo-woo as it sounds, I would have crystals and herbs or even incense mixtures that I would make that are associated with that planet, use specific colors that might be associated with that planet. Sometimes I would change the light bulb inside the room to a different color that matches, like, if I was working with Jupiter, I'd put blue in there, or Friday, if it was Friday, and I would work with Venus because it's Friday, I have a green thing in there, a green altar cloth. I did. I had I had the incense burner, and I would put the incense on there. I would consecrate my working space. I would even get like the bowl of water, and I would add what was that pink fucking salt to it? I forgot, Himalayan salt.
Yeah, Himalayan salt.
Yeah, yeah, yo, and I even had no shit you not. I even had the shit that they use in Catholic Church where you dip that thing in it. It has like cotton inside there, and then you kind of like so it drips out, and you can kind
Oh,
of,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I had Sporelgium or some weird shit like that they call it. I even had one of those things. But believe it or not, it almost looked very much my altar most of the time. I even had my wife at the time would even say it looks like a Catholic church setup.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Exactly. This is these are things I've been saying anyway. And yeah.
yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it real. There was people that I knew that if you saw their get up and what they did, it looked no different. And the
Yeah.
stuff that they were in,
Yep.
it was very interesting. But so I forgot. Oh, so I started getting into planetary magic more, which kind of started bringing me to talismans, and then that was when I started kind of getting into the idea of, like, contacting certain deities or ideas of God or certain energies and trying to, like, I guess, put them into things to help create change on me.
Yep.
I started doing stuff like that, and then, so I guess, like, my idea of magic, looking back at it then, I wouldn't necessarily consider that stuff type of black magic, but I do think when you even the stupid shit like, "Oh, I'm gonna burn this candle so, like, it influences so and so to, like, pick me for a job."
Yeah,
As
right.
silly as that is, that to me my opinion, looking, because where I'm gonna go now with this, I look at that as almost just, like, silly, stupid, slight black magic.
Yeah.
I was like, because again, when you start looking at what the magician's supposed to job is to do, it's really to align himself with God. So why the fuck am I trying to align everybody else around me to bend to my will to make my life easier?
Right, right.
So, I mean, as silly as that sounds, I don't know, maybe some people think I'm going too far with that, but, um, eventually at one point I was just like, "You know what? I for some reason I had this idea that it was about a lot more inner work, And there was just, I think maybe I was just like getting unhappy and realizing that it was a lot of my own thinking that is the problem. And I do know that there was like, kind of a psychological aspect to magic from listening to certain people. Um, David Shoemaker was one. He was a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and he had a book, Living Thelema, and a podcast on it. And like he did get into like kind of like you got to fix your head a little bit. He said it a lot out more better than that, but I did realize that there probably is like some mental workings, and I wanted to start kind of like getting into more of I think I'm a problem here, so maybe I should change me.
Mhm.
And that turns into a lot more like theurgic type stuff. Or I was very much into the Kabbalistic tree of life. I still study Kabbalah now. But like I would sometimes use the hexagram ritual. It's planetary magic. On the tree of life, you can apply the hermetic tree of life. It's not the original Kabbalah, but the Hermetic Kabbalah. You can start attributing all these things to it, and you can put planets on most of those spheres. So when I was using the hexagram ritual, I would sometimes attribute it to whatever sphere that planet also fell on, and then I would sometimes deal with like whatever archangel was associated with that sphere, or the idea of God in that sphere, and I would make it a lot more theurgic. I would ask for help changing myself, or I would just pray to it or just, acknowledge its existence and thank it for like
Mhm.
trying to help me. But it was a lot of more theurgic. And that started to really bring a real change. I realized my meditations got a lot better. They got a lot more deeper. One thing that I used to do a lot besides meditations was chakra work. I actually did that a lot throughout my whole career. And a lot of it was just alignments. Nothing too crazy. I did the middle pillar a lot, which is a meditative like ritual that you can do that the Golden Dawn, I think Israel Regardie wrote it, that I would do sometimes in the middle of rituals is just a way of like kind of getting into the mood, clearing my mind. And there is a lot of visualizations that you're supposed to try to create when you're doing that. And that just, I don't know what it was. It was just like I was getting like free movies when I'd close my eyes. It's like I'd just be able to create these fucking scenes like a lot easier with just my imagination
Right.
and with the visuals that I was being told to try to, think of. And, I just started, having very deep meditations to where, I would really be able to almost, like, feel my chakras as I would go down, up and down. And for some reason, one day, I was just, like, kinda stuck with, like I guess, like, "Oh, you gotta open up your third eye." So I was like, "Oh, well, why don't I just push on my pineal gland and see if I feel anything?" That sounds fucking silly, but, I would do that, and then sometimes I'd realize, like, for me, again, I can feel these things, or I mean, I would have to get into it a little bit more now, but, like, back in the day, it's like it literally felt like little fucking spinning balls where these things are supposed to be on me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say, like, "It's nothing special," but, like, it takes time to get there, but you can do
Mhm.
it. So I would focus on my pineal gland, and I noticed, like, if I was, like, in a deep meditation and I did that, for some reason, it almost seemed like it actually would change the darkness even darker. It sounds silly, but it was, like, almost like when I'd push on it, it looked like it would just get, like, blacker. It's hard to explain, but so I was like, "Huh, maybe something's up with that," and I kinda just, like, let it go. And then, like, another time, I think, I was doing a ritual to Netzach, which was, like, I guess, beauty and love, kind of, the idea of God, that sphere, and, I think I was meditating, in the middle of it, and, I started pushing on, my pineal gland and doing that again, and I noticed that it got, like, very black, and it started like I was this time I was holding it. A lot of times, I don't know, I just let it go.
Mhm.
And, I was holding it, and it just, like, looked like it was, like, almost like oil coming out of the ground, like, out of a black ground that make it even look blacker than it was. Another way that I would, kind of explain that is if, like I guess if I was looking down at a black table that I thought was really black, and then, like, I blew on it, and it blew dust away, and then you saw the real black underneath it. Something weird like that, but,
Yeah.
I noticed that would happen, and then there would
Mm.
even be, like, these really bright, thin, almost like rainbow, kind of like oil slick lines around it as it spread out. So I was even making me think of, like, street oil. It was just
Yeah.
very weird looking, and, I held on to that, and then, like, I would just start to notice, like, a white dot show up, and that was like, it was almost like this burning, like, pin dot in the back, and it almost seemed to, like, move around a little bit, and, it would just, like, kinda come and go in my focus, and, like, somehow, I just realized that, like, this is what seems to work, is that, like, when I saw it, like, as if my eyes were cross-eyed looking up towards my pineal gland,
Right.
and almost, like, kind of all pushed, it's gonna sound crazy, towards where that pin dot is. It's almost that I, like, locked onto it, like, it's like fucking Top Gun, and I'm, like, locked onto its heat signature, so
Yeah.
it's, and then it's like, it just holds it there, and it's not moving anymore, and, like, if I put more pressure, it's almost like it started to come closer, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Oh, this is," again, I'm thinking, I was like, "Oh, this is a great fucking visual, man. This is fucking cool. Like, I'm getting a free fucking weird movie out of this." So, I'm not having any thoughts of fear or anything. I just think it's fucking fake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
right.
I just keep going along with it. And, it starts to come closer, and then it turns into this fucking gigantic eclipse. But, long time, I mean, I could go through this whole thing, but eventually, long story short, is I end up with this fucking flash. I go somewhere else, and then I come back, and I'm just like, my whole fucking, like, life is just, like, completely changed. Just like, I mean, I could go into this stuff, but it's just, it just rocked me, and I had an experience that I did not think was what this stuff was about at all. To the point to where I was, like, almost pissed off. 'Cause I was like, especially after doing it, like, another two times after that,
Yeah.
I started to realize, I think there's certain things that's even going on I think, long story short, I think you are actually tapping out. There is a death for a rebirth.
Oh,
And I was
well,
like, "You should I mean, look at what shamans do. They push
yeah.
themselves to the edge to have these experiences." I'm like, "At least them, I think you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Here, it's just like, oh, have at it and see what happens." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you
Just the
tell a
Wild
motherfucker might
West.
be a little bit more fucking different.
Right.
You gotta give some sort of fucking warning here, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. Like, I mean, there was, I guess, at least, again, I'll bring up Iron Maiden. A Peace of Mind album, there's a song where at the beginning, fucking Nico McBrain is talking backwards. And if you put it on, he even specifically says, "Don't play with shit you don't understand."
Right.
He even
Yeah.
tell it.
So tell us, like, what was, dig into that a little. The experience.
Alright, so I have the Eclipse, which is why it's on my stuff all over the place.
Yeah, the black sun.
Well, yeah, I guess, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, call it what it is. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
But
Yeah.
essentially, right.
I've already
Yeah.
been called a Nazi before, so fuck it. I mean,
Right.
but yeah. So you have, looks like an eclipse to me. It starts to grow and gets really big, and then if I just let it keep going, at some point it's like these again, you get these bright lines where it's almost like, the best way to try to explain it that you might get it is like almost like if you were looking at like a thermal camera. It
Mhm.
was the way thermal looks. And it was just very like bright, and it's like they'd start spiraling out. It was a couple of colors that would just start spiraling out around it. It almost looked like a reverberating, like spinning record or something. It was just like these lines, like it was just it goes completely deaf at this point. I don't think there was any more sound at this point. Like anything around me was just non-existent. And I'm just watching this come out. And then all of a sudden it like starts turning into like flashing and spinning like sacred geometry shit. It's just like it's not making that noise, but like shit's just flying past me. All these like spinning shapes. And I was like, "Oh wow, this is fucking awesome."
This is a great
Yeah,
movie.
yo,
Right.
I swear to God, dude. I'm just like, "Yo, this is fucking crazy shit." I was like, "This is it," whatever. And then that starts to go away. And then this is when I did start to notice some physical feelings where I was like, "Ooh, what's going on?" Yeah. Um, at that point, like, it almost starts to feel like that from the bottom of my feet, that it's like almost disappearing. Like, it almost
Mhm.
feels like that, like it starts to go up my body, and, like it like, almost like Tron, where you see the guy getting fucking scanned and sucked
Yeah,
into.
right.
It's like that's happening, and it's like, like, all of a sudden, like, below my knees, it just doesn't exist anymore. I didn't even feel it in the bed because I was like, I've done that before where I was, like, in the bed, but, like, even standing up, which is fucking insane. I'm standing up. I wasn't actually even meditating in a chair. I think I did this right after the middle pillar. So I'm even on my legs, and somehow it doesn't feel like it's there.
Yeah.
That's even fucking weirder. Dude, it's at one point, it's like you're at the hips and you're just fucking inside this pentagram you think you just created floating from your waist up at some point. It feels like that as I'm witnessing this thing. And so like that starts to feel like it's disappearing. And then those spiral things start to, oh, I totally fucked this up. Before you get this spinning shit, it looks like these explosions around the fucking eclipse, all around it. And it's kind of like yellow and orange. And then it starts to turn into like red. And for some reason, I don't know why it started to me, which is why I have one of the logos I have. It looked like roses blooming around
Mhm.
the eclipse. And I was like, what the yeah, so that happens, and then the spirals come, and then the sacred geometry looking shit comes, and then all that disappears, and it's just like this thing is just like fucking the eclipse is just there. It's just like huge. And then all of a sudden, these like windows start coming out of the side of it. And that's why I have that thing where it looks like movie cells. And all of them, like it would almost look like if I was in like a train place or a subway and two cars were going real slow coming in at the same time, and I could look into the windows. It was almost like that coming down across from me, and like each window looked like just like something different. A lot of times I didn't even really pay attention to it, which I think actually makes a huge difference
Yeah.
when I tell more of the story. Normally it would just like kind of look like different times and places. I really didn't pay it no mind. I'm still hooked on the fucking eclipse. I don't know why. I was just very stuck on that. I guess because I'm also pushing my pineal gland this whole time too, focused on the eclipse to make this even happen. I'm like holding it there to watch this whole thing.
Right.
And they start coming, and it's just a bunch of them are going by, and then they disappear, and then it's just there. And then like all of a sudden, the black part in the middle starts to like rise up, instead of side to side like a normal eclipse would be, to where like at one point it's like the fucking Cheshire cat is fucking grinning at you with like fucking glowing mouth, like
Right.
a crescent above Toth's head. Same shit. You see that fucking crescent upside down. That
Yeah.
most people are used to that way. You see it that way, and it starts to pull apart. And as soon as the black pulls away from the white, and it's just this big white glowing orb, all of a sudden it feels like something fucking snaps to where all the pressure that I was pushing forward is like fuck you and comes back. It's like almost like polarity changes.
Right.
And it's like looking down the barrel of a gun, and I see and it comes at me. And at that point now, all of a sudden it feels like I got fucking the river. Or I've even thought, like, if you think about it, it could even be being on fire, but just not feeling the pain. It literally feels like I was laying on the beach. The waves came up and fucking went through the bottom of my feet. And just, I have this feeling of this flow through me. As crazy as it's going to sound, and I do believe that you are type of clicking out, this experience, I have never felt so alive. Like, it's pretty much like I'm dying, and that is the most alive I have ever felt in my life. It is
Mm.
insane. I literally feel inside of me tingling and moving like it's flowing through my body, or like a flame flickering with inside me. It all goes up, comes up into my head, builds up, and then shoots out right where the fucking Jews put that hat. Feels like I'm fucking blowing my
Right. The
load.
crown of your head. Yeah.
It literally feels like I'm blowing my fucking load out of my fucking head. And it feels like like I'm literally melting out of me. That sounds
Yeah.
crazy. You literally feel like this weight, like you become weightlessness. And all of a sudden, I realize there's no feeling of fear. I'm not worried about my fucking car, my cell phone, or getting laid. Like all of a sudden, I just find myself in some sort of scene that I don't even know where the fuck I am. But like I'm just existing, and feels like an immense. I've said it a few times. It's better than any drug I've ever done, any nut I've ever busted, any time I thought I was in love with somebody. It is a feeling of love that I have never, ever, ever experienced here. Like it magnified by 1,000, to where I'm just existing in whatever I'm in. Honestly, what's really weird is a lot of times that this has happened to me. It's like, oh, I thought NASA just put that picture out. Like it looks like shit that fucking NASA hands us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like that even weirded me out, because I was like, I don't believe in outer space. Like, but like, what the fuck is this? But it just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just darkness with like just all this stuff, and you're not there. Your body isn't there. I'm just like fucking among it. And it's like, I'm not thinking about a damn thing. I'm just witnessing it and feeling love, and just like, it, like literally not even thinking, but just witnessing something. It's so hard to explain. And as soon as it goes on for a little bit and I start thinking, oh, where am I? Come right out of it. Fucking,
It's almost like you're telling, uh, talking about a near-death experience
Yeah,
and the same feelings, kind of. It seems like it rhymes a little bit, right?
yeah, so I've had some NDE authors, well, whatever, people on for that because I do find there's some similarities, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"What's wrong
right.
with this shit, man?"
Something going on there, right?
But,
Yeah.
yeah, and then the weirdest thing is that after that experience happened, like, I was telling Headless a few days ago or maybe last week, he was on the show, and I think he was asking me about, like, if I was planning on doing that again or something like that, and I was like, "I think I wanna put a few more years of studying in my head before I do." Because I told him, I said, "Whenever I did these things, it's like shit that I didn't understand, symbolism or stuff in the occult, it's like I'd wake up, I'd open my eyes, and, like, all of a sudden, I'd have all these images of thoughts showing me shit and, like, putting things together, and I'm like, "Holy fuck, now this all makes sense." It's really weird. I hate to say it, it's almost like Matrix type. Well, Neo's like, "Oh, I know kung fu. I'm not gonna wake up and know."
Right. Yeah, 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 right.
But
No, I
it's just very
understand.
much like that, where I'm like, "Yo, this is fucking creepy." That's why I joked. I was like, "I wanna put more shit in my head to fucking reconstruct before I do it again, so I'm a fucking
Right,
genius this time."
right. Yeah. Not just a podcaster,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, so many people, like, equate, uh, occultism with, like, darkness
Mm,
and or, like, the
absolutely.
taboo.
Mhm.
But how do you respond to concerns, like, about you and I have talked about this before, but ethical, or moral implications?
Well, one thing I think even when it comes to I will say when it comes to the occult, unfortunately, it can be a hotbed of mental. Just keep it fucking real. You
Yeah.
might want to have a little bit, of, discernment. But in all actuality, I don't think it's any different than if you were to go to the Catholic Church, the Christian Church, Jehovah's Witness. Anyway, there's a percentage of sick pieces of shit motherfuckers and everything.
Yeah. Right.
Um, I do think if I don't know how to explain it. I mean, certain orders, I think maybe if you look at it enough, you already know like this is a little weird. But I mean, I wouldn't even suggest joining an order. But I do think if you were to look into, um, I guess the stuff that these places might kind of focus on and kind of learn it from the original, people from back in the day,
Mhm.
I think you'll get a different aspect from it. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say, I guess, but you can't take anything on face value. I would even say that the problem is with that too, is that a lot of like you have like I don't know if this is the best way of saying it, but like there's even people who've considered like Crowley and Blavatsky like neo pagans. Like
Mhm.
you're looking at like the last fucking like kind of people with any fucking name. Yeah, I mean, there's so much more before them, and a lot of them, I'm gonna keep it real, they knew some shit, but they grifted off of the old motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They knew nobody knew about the dudes anymore in the 1600s, so they took some
Right.
of their even fucking illustrations and just changed it a little bit. Took some of their ideas and reworded it a little bit and presented it as like, "Oh,
As
wow,
their own.
oh."
Yeah. Right.
I mean, like, honestly, no different than on our fucking field.
Yeah.
You get people who watch a Jordan Maxwell video from 15 years ago and somehow regurgitates that shit and becomes famous. You're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I remember my
Right.
first day in conspiracy world. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit
Yeah,
is so basic.
absolutely.
And, but, there is I do think, like, when you kinda take the orders out this is something that Judah McCarthy had said one time, of course, trying to promote her own shit. But I did look at it, and I do think it is a hell of a lot more personal, and it's books that you read online, you're not even part of an order. But she did say a part of the problem with these orders is that she's like, let's say the light socket is magic or God. The fucking lamp that's plugged into it, that lampshade, that's like what you're getting. The OTO is gonna have a red one, the Golden Dawn's gonna have a gold one, whatever. They're all gonna have their little different shades of magic, but it's still their version and not your own personal experience. Like you're still going through somebody else's suggestions and bullshit. Um, I think when you get into it a lot more personal and take the orders out and you start looking into like, what is this stuff supposed to be for and about? You will probably realize that the intended original idea was actually to have an experience with God and become a better person. Where it has gone from then, I do question that. I do sometimes think that the people who have these experiences, like I have, I've said I do think I'm not saying that this depends if you really go to heaven or hell, but I do think that is when you're really gonna have a judgment on your soul because 'cause you're like, "Am I gonna use this experience now to help mankind, or am I gonna be a selfish motherfucker and be a liar, deceitful, and just pillage people for money and fame?"
Yeah.
So I really do think that that even determines, that was even one of the reasons besides it being an extremely I'm gonna keep a real addictive feeling. I didn't wanna fry myself out doing it too much, and I even started to think, like, if I do this too much, I feel like that just raises the percentage of me being an asshole one day afterwards. Like
Yeah.
like, how many times am I gonna keep on choosing the right fucking path after I do this?
Yeah.
'Cause it you will I for me, I even found myself being like, there's many ways I could try, but I was like, "You know what? Maybe just be an honest person and actually do the right thing."
Yeah. I think it's the epitome, well, obviously occultism. It's the epitome of an esoteric practice, right? It's and the antithesis of uh exoteric, meaning um understandable to the general public. I mean, it's not there for that. It's there for you, and especially like inner knowledge, right?
It's not easy.
But this is also all theory,
Yeah.
because some people believe this and some people believe that, and it's like, it's bottom line. It's like assholes. Everybody's got one. They all kind of smell, and you know, it's just like this. This is how it works. Everyone's got their own thoughts and uses for this stuff, right? So,
Yeah, and and well, let me say something I
I
forgot.
mean, it seems like for you, you think about this stuff fundamentally more of like like self-knowledge, uh,
Mhm.
power, both I mean, or both. Maybe not power, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a big impact on me, it might even help explain it too, like, it was a basic book, but, like, the Kabbalion or even the Gita, the beginning of the Gita,
gotcha.
I started to think, like, alright, I'll take the Gita as the example. When that kid's, like, sitting there and he's, like, at those 2 people are about to, like, go to war or whatever, they're arguing. Like, I was just like, "Yo," I'm like, "all the people that he's mentioning, just the specific people he's mentioning, those are all people that programmed that motherfucker from childhood up."
Yeah, right.
And I was like, I know we're being told something, but I was like, I think there's a deeper thing here where this is actually this kid's fucking conscious, or literally his brain is left and right side going to war.
Yeah,
And I started to just look at that, and even the way the Kabbalion was a lot about kind of like internal work, but very basically said, which I think is awesome thing to add to the Kabbalah if you're into the Kabbalah. I just started to realize that I think it has a lot to do with my own programming and my own brain, and that it was a lot. This is going to be a lot of inner work. And
yeah,
I was like, wow, like if I would have been even told that at the beginning, I probably went, "Fuck out of here. That doesn't sound, goth enough."
yeah.
But there is, it's very different if you start to look at it. I mean, people may not like even want to hear it too, but like, there was like even John D and Edward Kelly. I mean, they were very Christian. They were actually creating that whole thing, even that Enochian language, because they wanted Christians to have an esoteric system again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something I'm eventually going to cover on the show, and I'm not doing it out of malice. I actually think it's very interesting, and God, I wish more people would look at it like this. But if Christians realize where a lot of their ideas from Christianity came from, they'd see that they have a lot more in common with us than they think.
Yeah.
We we
Yeah.
we study the original
There
people that influenced Christianity,
there's bleed
and
over in all of it.
it was a very mystic thing in itself. I think. I think it was very like it was a deeply it was some deep shit if you're an actual Christian. There was studying and there was practices done. It's not what we think people are today. That's
It's
just my
different now for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm not knocking it that way. I think that makes it more even beautiful.
Yeah.
My experiences with magic has made God, even I will even say the Bible, I can look at completely differently now and actually find value and beauty in it.
Yeah.
In every religious writing, I think there's some sort of value and beauty in it if you look at it the right way. It just is, fucking trapdoors in there.
Of
It's like
course.
any occultist is shit too. Yeah. Yeah.
So where do you see the occult rejects heading in the next few years? Like, what do you got going on? What do you got
Oh,
coming up? I knew next few years is kind of broad,
yeah,
but like, what do you got coming up?
we've got lot more of occultists coming on. I one thing that I've been doing myself, and it's been a lot more heavier lately because I have more time to do it. I've been doing a lot more solo stuff, and a lot of that I am trying to attribute to like the science aspect and show how like I do think there is occult science. Something I even did something small on. It wasn't in depth, but I think enough to prove the point. I did a series on how colors can even affect your mood and your mind easily.
Oh yeah, for
You know how
sure.
like some of them are even incorporated in shit on purpose to do that. Herbs. I showed how herbs, like these herbs that we were burning on these things or we're putting, these oils on, or some we even ingest to make teas with.
Yeah,
If you look at what that shit does to your cranial nerve system, it's pretty much almost mimicking what you think that herb is supposed to be doing for you anyway, magically. And
yeah,
it's almost like, did they know that then? You know what I'm saying? It's just very weird how many of them are used to actually lower your vagus system, which is basically, again, helping you click the fuck out if you want.
yeah,
There's a lot of them that are used that if you sometimes just use an absurd amount, all of them becomes almost lethal and will shut you down completely almost. And you start wondering, like, what the fuck's up with this shit? But I just think it's very interesting to start looking at the science and just like, it was a little rough, but I propose that I do think a lot of magic is psychodrama. It's
yeah,
all due to what you're trying to program yourself, what the colors are doing to you that you're using around you, the incense you're smelling in, possibly the crystals too. I have shit on that I want to cover. There's just a lot of actual scientific influence on yourself. That with all those things incorporated, you're gonna think that fucking, Hecate did that for you. It's like,
yeah,
no, science actually did it to yourself.
yeah, yeah. Or it's just the way it is,
Mm,
right?
that's what I think. I
It's
think
like
there's a lot
instead of
more
trying to
science
label
to
it a lot of
stupidity.
these things, and that's something that I think you and I have talked about in the past too. Instead of trying to label what it is, it just is. Like
Yes,
certain
yes.
things, we all live in a vibrational world, and frequencies are everywhere. We're getting
Yes.
bombarded with everything and everything,
We just start just
including, you
citing
know,
every odd frequency as bad
there's a
now.
huge difference between um, like what the stone, literally just the frequency that it puts out will do compared to like
Or if it like is
fucking
bad,
to like a coin or something.
exactly.
It's all it just is what it is.
Yeah, so I think you kinda understand where I'm going with it, that there's
Yeah,
actually a lot of
absolutely.
science behind this shit that I don't
Yep.
think people realize.
Yep. And when you say science, I understand what you're saying. But
Yeah.
some people just be like,
Oh, they don't even wanna
again,
hear that in the occult.
yeah, but and again, it's not, I feel like we lack the correct word, and so,
You know what they would use in the past? I think natural magic. I
yeah,
think that's how what they would
or
use.
naturopathy or something like that, or
Homeopathy.
just
Yeah,
nature. How about,
yeah,
I mean, just the difference between sitting in front of all these computers and shit. I mean, look at us, the two of us. We got
yeah.
mics in our faces, we got computers
Oh,
and
yeah.
screens and shit.
All the
And
EMF.
then how you feel, right? Because this is all frequency. It's all emitting some sort of magnetic
They're
energy.
using magic to talk
And
to
then
you.
turn around and go out in the woods and see how you feel then. It's all it's just the shit's around us, man. So,
You think about it, in order for any of this shit to work, it all has multiple magnets going on too.
and it all exists together at the same time and place,
Yeah, I
right?
even say I think the equipment we use, I'm messing with magic just to do it.
Right. Exactly. 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 So, yeah. It's not it's not as it's not as abstract as everyone kind of makes it out to be at all, in my opinion. So,
You know what I think is, the hugest thing too right nowadays? And I call it Nazi magic a lot because I do think the Nazis are really good at kind of like,
mm,
designing this magic, and it's not anything. I know that when I say that, people automatically think it's political, but the left does it too. It's when, you're handed images and sounds and made to believe it's something else.
yeah. Yeah.
And I do think we're getting tons of that type of magic handed to us. We're given a voice and a
Yeah.
vision,
Well,
and,
I
like,
mean,
this is the
that's
thing too.
TV, man.
A lot of times, and I God for forgive me if I'm wrong. Sometimes I do think a lot of shit is fake, actually. And it's like, all right, we actually didn't do anything bad. We're gonna just make you think we did, and that's good enough because you're gonna fucking spin the fuck out. I mean, these
Yeah.
people are still sick.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certain things where it's like, how do we know if that situation was real?
Yeah.
There's so many different theories about George Floyd and Charlie Kirk. People
Right.
still
Well, it's like the whole I always when we when we head down this road, I always point back to that movie Wag the Dog. If you've never seen it, you need to
No, I
see
have
it.
not, but I remember,
But yeah, it's the concept.
Rounds was
It's
telling me about that.
they fabricate an entire war.
To get people going and to
Yeah.
get people
Well,
to
I mean, just look at what happened the other day with Minnesota and this woman that was shot and the ICE agent that was hit. And people will I think it's all manipulation, right? And you've got half the people like, yeah, blah blah blah, this that, and
Yeah.
it's just polarizing. And I think this is the powers that be that want the power of it all. They're fabricating and creating this narrative and this all the
Such a
crap.
fucked up situation with that.
Yeah, it's just and it's actually that could be considered, in my opinion, that could be considered magic. They're
Oh,
literally,
yes, yes,
is
yes.
what I'm saying.
Especially
So
when they say the cop had 33 stitches from the last accident, I'm like, "Okay, I guess the Masons are in on this one."
33 stitches from getting
Yeah, I'm like,
drugged down
"Alright,
the
the
road.
Masons did this
Yeah,
one.
and see,
Alright,
that's
that
the
was their
thing is it's
signature."
like, and then you kind of look, and if you're somebody like me who I literally dig in both sides of this trough, right? And that's what I call it, the trough. You look in the left and the right side of the trough, and you start
No,
digging
when you
into
do
it.
that though, you
And
will see some interesting shit.
oh yeah, because there's
We all
things
have
that
the
come
different
up,
ways of looking at shit too.
right? And then what ends up happening is that you see the narrative on this side and the narrative on this side, and where they uh there is bleed over, but it's all the most inconsequential bullshit, right? And they just create the two narratives, and they know who's going to swallow this one and they know who's going to
Yes.
swallow that one. And it's all about taking the bite out of the freaking fruit,
You're
and which
totally right.
side's going to do it, or which side's taking this. And they create both narratives so they can keep us from actually coming together and doing
Yes.
crazy, amazing things.
Yes. That's like, I mentioned a lot that I thought was really shady is, like, when we had the Ukraine war, I guess it's still going on,
It is. Yeah.
um, that when I first started seeing that, I remember, like, seeing the Azov battalion popping up, and I
Oh
started
yeah.
looking
Yeah.
for them,
Right. Wild.
and, like, yeah, they got, like, the swastika on their shit, they have the
Oof. I mean, they're straight.
white supre
Wow.
yeah. Yo, the
Straight white
crazy
supremacists.
crazy thing is this is another thing, not to get off of it, and hopefully, I'll remember where I was going with this. But if you look at, like, some of the political parties or, like, the people that are fighting in the war, like, some of them are like, "Yo, that's straight up a militia. That's not the government." And
No.
you start to wonder, so where did all these
On both sides too.
hundreds or thousands of dudes get the same outfits, get all these fucking weapons, actually look like a militia? How you guys all paid out of pocket for this shit? Your wives are cool with this?
Doubt
Oh,
it.
come on, man. This
Yeah,
shit's funded.
exactly.
Yeah, and
And
it's
that
just like,
happens
it's
on
like,
both that's happening on both sides too. It's
but
why
yeah,
I
it
mean,
blows my
and
mind. I'm
some of
like, so
it's
the left and the
state.
right are actually defending militias.
Yeah. So, I
Like, you
mean,
even realize what the fuck you're defending.
yeah.
But real quick with the Azov battalion, um, a lot at the beginning when this shit happened, a lot of the footage that the this news and all news outlets, I noticed CNN, Fox, MSNBC, they're showing video footage by the Azov battalion.
Mm.
Why is a Nazi battalion or a battalion throwing up fucking occult symbols showing us with video that looks like, AI could do fucking better at this point, of videos of what's going on over there? Why are
Right.
they showing us? Why the fuck are we trusting Nazis? I just found it very
Yeah.
weird. I was
It
just like,
is.
"No,
It's wild.
is this that magic where it's just like, oh, this motherfucker over here sent us this low resolution fucking
Yep.
weird looking thing."
I mean, there's a reason it's called and I know it's part of the name of and this was done by on purpose, but it's called broadcasting for a reason,
Casting.
right?
Yeah, that is wild if you think about that, casting.
And so, yeah, there's all these things, there's all these words, and if you look back, anyway, that's a
White
whole
cast,
nother
you're gonna throw out a
episode,
white
dude.
cast.
So, do some shameless product placement. Tell us, where's the best place to find you and
Oh, yeah.
anything people should buy or go buy or
Well, that is true. I do have some I never put I gotta start pushing it. It's crazy. I got, like, all these T-shirts. I don't even try to push them. Yeah, we do have the Occult Rejects. I mean, we do have two different types of t-shirts. You can probably check out social media. I probably have it saved somewhere. But yeah, we do have two logo shirts, and both of them, believe it or not, are actually all occult symbolism for the inside of your eyeball. Believe it or not, or your brain.
Yeah.
As crazy and weird as they may look. But that's the type of shit that's on there. It's nothing anything bad. It's actually occult science. We have two of those that you can find again on my stuff. And yeah, besides that, check out the Occult Research Institute. Check us out on I think Apple and Spotify were obviously on those, but I think I was looking at it because I've been trying to make this thing because it does irk me. I think it's Spotify. I have like a 4.2. And the only complaints is from back in the day with me coughing on the fucking microphone and
Gotcha.
the audio quality. Nothing about the content. So go over to Spotify and smash that 5 fucking stars and help bring that back
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
Because it's like it's literally down because of like just stupid shit. Never one complaint about the guest or the quality of the quality of the topic. It's always like just the shitty fucking audio or me coughing back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, go over there and try to check that out if you don't mind using Spotify and give us 5 stars. But,
Yeah, like the freaking bad reviews I have are all over things that I can't control at all.
yeah, well,
Like
the coughing was my
ads.
fault, but it's
I mean,
like,
I
no, the
guess I can
guest or the
control the
audio.
ads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? Or the guest audio. It's like, I'm sorry, would you rather me just not have them on?
Yeah, just would you rather not talk? There's a little buzzing. Get over it a little bit. I'm just saying. But like,
Let's
yeah,
see.
I have one that's there's too many ads, and that's true. But again, if I want to do this and you want to listen, there's got to be a return on investment here, folks. I mean,
I don't charge for anything, so it's like, yo, you want to do me a favor? Just listen to the fucking commercials.
right, exactly. And I'm not even putting them in a place. I'm not even placing them. They are, but people just get pissed. Okay, so then the idea is, I guess, go pay $5 and then you don't have to listen to them. So,
they
or
do
whatever.
get that? Yeah, I think Spreaker even offers that package too.
Well, they'll get there, and I'm getting there. I'm working on that now. So, but anyway, man, it's so good to talk to you.
Oh yeah,
and
you'll be coming up in 2 days.
Yeah, literally 3 days. So I appreciate it, and thanks for coming on, man.
Of course.
Is it You